Hello, everybody, and welcome to Real Horror. This is a show where we discuss the horror movie of the week, and tonight we are discussing An American Werewolf in London, my favorite werewolf movie. I just want to welcome the panel. Tommy, thank you for being here.
Oh, we.
How you doing tonight, Tommy?
We're doing okay. We're hanging
Good,
in there. The moon isn't up yet, so we still got a chance to make it all the way through this stream.
good. I'm glad to hear that. Vinny, loving this little icon you got going on. How you doing tonight?
Yeah, I'm doing good. It's been a while since I've seen this one. Well over a decade. So yeah, watching it again. This movie, I think you're right. It is one of the best werewolf movies out there. Yeah. So I'm looking forward to tonight for sure. This is going to be fun.
Yes, it is. Thank you for being here.
Oh,
and
pleasure.
Draven. Oh, Draven's got the animated thingy going on too. Thank you for being here.
Yep. Yeah, good to be here. It's been, I don't even know if I actually seen this in its entirety until now. I remember like the beginning part, and then after that I didn't really remember much. So it's been a while since I've seen it. But
wow, yeah, I've actually heard now from a few people that they haven't seen the movie yet, and I was actually surprised at that.
Mm-hmm.
But we got a couple of people in the chat already. Toy Mafia was here a while ago. Thank you for being here. And Solar Wooden, thank you for being here as well. And of course, thank you to anyone who shows up now or on the replay. I appreciate you as well.
Guys, remember, as always, smash the like button, or at this point, nibble away at the like button, and be sure to share the stream out there, because I'm still saying it's my fault. Most hating guinea pig on YouTube. I'm here, and now you're getting suppressed because of me. Damn it! Damn it!
Hey, it's all right.
That's okay.
Familia. Look, Draven's got. This is actually an Italian on the toilet. You know, this is what they say. Mangio bene, cage male.
And now I'm kind of curious. Are all you guys protected just in case you get werepig mites?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Well, I am a werewolf.
Yeah, I feel like I'm at risk here. So, all right. So I usually like to start with favorite parts. So, Tommy, do you have a favorite part?
That's tough, because there's actually a lot of good scenes, I think, in both movies. I know a lot of people shit on the second movie and they say it's nowhere near as good as the first, but I think it is quite good for what it is. And like even the beginning where they have the whole Eiffel Tower scene in that one, I enjoyed all that stuff. I thought it was hilarious, all the way to like the weird daydreams that he was having. Like all that stuff, I enjoyed all of it. But I would still say probably, if you want to talk about not so much a favorite scene, but the most impactful scene, would probably be the transformation scene, because you always see all these movies where they're talking about werewolves, where the werewolf changes, and you don't really see like a whole lot of agony and pain on their face, or actually that they're physically going through. In this one, you've seen that aspect with him when Jack is turning into the werewolf for the first time.
Yeah, I definitely want to talk about the transformation scene, because that's a definite yeah. There's a lot to be said about that. Just want to say, hey, Papa Khan, thanks for stopping by. Good to see
Papa.
you here.
What up, Papa?
Okay, so Vinny, do you have a favorite part?
I mean, the transformation scene is pretty epic, and I like the kind of old school, like the nod to the Lon Chaney movie, Lon Chaney Jr. With all the villagers in there. As soon as like they walk in and everyone goes just silent and they're staring at them like, who are these people in here? What are they doing in here? You know, like that whole scene was like, it worked. But I think maybe my favorite scene was somewhere around this area, and when he bites off that one cop's head.
Yeah.
There was something that was just so epic, and like, because the whole movie, the pacing's great. Like you don't start to really see stuff until the transformation, and then kind of how he starts to attack like with those first 6 people. it's like it's just from the eyes of the werewolf of David, you know, and.
Yeah.
I thought they did such a great job, and then it's that moment where he's kind of like in the subway, and you see the tubes or whatever they call it over there, and you just see his paws for the first time, like as the guy's on the escalator, like right before he rips him to shreds. Like again, everything was just so well done on this. Yeah, this is a masterpiece of a movie, especially for in '81 to do what they did. Jeez.
Yes, absolutely. And hello again, Toy Mafia and Stig. Also, thank you for being here.
What's up?
Yeah. So, okay, Draven, how about you? Oh, 1 second. Tina, thank you for being here. Good to see you.
Hello.
Probably anything with his like friend that's like trying to warn him that from like the afterlife or whatever.
Yeah.
I liked like the effects and stuff with that, and then anytime he's on screen with that hot nurse.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So.
Well, I think the way they explained it is those ghosts are actually cursed because they were killed by a werewolf and they can't leave this plane and move on until he's destroyed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so so how do you guys want to break down this movie? Sometimes we go scene by scene, and I'm fine with that. There's 4 of us, so however you guys want to do it, I'm fine with.
You could sift through it hair by hair.
Okay. Okay.
Try not to get a hairball.
Okay, so all right. Well, you know what? Steak has said that he's never seen this movie, and so I got a brief synopsis here, and I'll start with that. So this movie obviously is An American Werewolf in London, and it came out in 1981, directed by John Landis. And the synopsis is 2 college students are backpacking through northern England, and they kind of hitch a ride with like this farmer who tells them to, like stick to the roads and stuff. It's safer that way. But they don't listen, of course, because they're kids and they don't listen. So
because they're damn Americans. That's why.
Stupid Americans. That's right.
Yep.
Stupid American kids, especially. Yeah. So they head on to what is called in this movie the moors, which is basically like the meadows, the rolling meadows. And hello, Frankie. Good to see you.
Hey, Frankie.
Yeah. So they end up wandering around and skip ahead a bit, and then all of a sudden one of the friends gets attacked by a werewolf. He ends up dying, but the friend he's with survives the attack. And we later find out that it's later, we find out that he becomes a werewolf. And so, and through this all, he like basically discovers the truth of what it means to be a werewolf and all of that. And that's like a brief synopsis of the movie. So yeah, that is really like a basic breakdown of it.
Well, you know what? There's one other thing we need to do for all those out there that are part of our guinea pig collective. We'll break it down in guinea pig form as well. And there we go.
Jeez.
That's a lot of weeks.
That was like a de-transformation. You went from werewolf to regular.
Yeah.
Well, that's the story. In the end, he becomes normal again.
Yeah.
But we're not on that part right now.
No. Well, like from the opening, I mean, again, you have 2 Americans who are backpacking through Europe, essentially. Like they talk about that they were going to go to Italy, but first they were hitting London and all that. And the one guy, his friend Jack, is just a wise ass and he's breaking his balls the whole time. And it's like, yeah, we're freezing our balls off We're kind of like in the middle of nowhere, you know, but they're still making the best of it. They end up finding this place called the Slaughtered Lamb, which is very much, you know, like this little kind of bar. What do you call it? Not
It's
an
a
inn,
pub.
like a pub.
Yeah.
It's mixed with that a little bit, but yeah, as they're there, like all the locals, they know what's up, and they all freeze. No one's talking to them, and they're like they're you know asking what they could have. No, like there's nothing for you. And then eventually the lady's like she was gonna give them tea or something. They wanted something hot because they were freezing their asses off. So as they're sitting there, everyone starts to talk again, and it looks like they're being kind of normal. And the one friend Jack sees like a pentagram that's carved into the wall, and like they want to ask the people about it, but they're starting to you know warm up to them a little bit, and they're one guy's making jokes and stuff. And then as soon as they ask about the pentagram, they're all quiet again, and like you better get the hell out of here. Like yeah, we're gonna leave.
It goes like this. It goes like this.
The slaughtered lamb.
It's very cold outside. May we come in?
Look at that. Lon Chaney Jr. and Universal Studios maintain that's the mark of the Wolf Man.
Excuse me. Well, what's that star on the wall for?
Shall we go, Jack?
Apparently so.
Go. God be with you.
Go. Stay on the road. Keep clear to the moors.
Beware the moon, lads.
Which I love because that's all like throwbacks to the original movie, you know.
Yes.
And that's so good. You know,
I love that. Yeah.
It's
It was
still,
so.
they captured the vibe perfectly.
Yes, and the way that they nod to the Wolf Man is I thought just was so respectful.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just that won me over big time.
Yeah.
But yeah, so all right, so you're doing good. You want to just keep going?
Yeah, we could do that. So as those guys start to make their way, they're starting to cross from the road into the moors again, which they shouldn't have done, and they start hearing howling, and then they cut back to the slaughtered lamb, and they're all kind of quiet, and the one lady's like, "We should have told them. We should have told them." And they're like, "No, we should. You know, this is our business. They don't need to know this thing. As long as they stick to the roads, they'll be fine." And they're having like a debate whether if they should go out and save them and you know get them out of there. And they hear the howling. And no, we didn't hear nothing. Some of the guys, they're so afraid. They're so afraid that they're no, we didn't hear anything. And you cut to them in the middle of you know in their walk, like maybe we should get back to the slaughtered lamb. So they start running back, and they're like, "We're lost. Where the hell are we?" And the wolf is circling them. It's howling. It's getting closer. And then David he trips. And his friend Jack was gonna help him up, and he gets attacked straight up. You see, like the wolf is on top of him, and it's starting to you know chew him up, and he's screaming. And David just books it. He starts running, and as he's running, he can still hear his friend screaming, and he goes, "I gotta go back." And when he runs back, he sees his friend all mauled, ripped to shreds, and like before he could even say anything, yeah, he gets right there, what Draven has, he starts to get mauled as well. Well, that's Jack, but David runs back and he gets attacked as well, but he doesn't get attacked as severely. It looks like he gets like a bit on his face and then on his chest, and then you hear gunshots. So the people from the slaughtered lamb, they actually came back to save them, and then David wakes up in the hospital. Well, oh, I'm sorry. As he's about to pass out, he turns his head, and where that werewolf was apparently shot is a naked man. And then he blacks out.
It's a full moon. Beware the moon and stick to the road. Oops. It's moving. It's circling us. Come on, turn slowly. Let's walk away.
Nice doggy. Good boy.
Come on, Jack. Walk away.
Walking away, yes. Here we are, walking away.
Jack!
What?
Where are we going?
I don't know. I'll tell you when we get there.
Okay, because... Oh!
You really scared me, you shithead. You gonna help me up or what? Jack.
That was pretty good. And then he wakes up in the hospital.
Hey, Soul Assassin, thanks for coming in. He comes in dropping the links like they're hot. I love this guy.
Nice.
Soul Assassin is
Awesome.
the best. Oh, okay, you want to hear something really frightening now?
Yeah.
I mean, that's a pretty terrifying scene. Just imagine it with a skinny pig.
Oh shit. Good stuff. Oh, fun fact, the howling, it was actually 9 different sound bites. There are a couple of them that they used was a lion, a panther, a wolf, and a train, believe it or not.
I knew I heard big cat noises.
Mm-hmm.
Draven, I love this.
Tommy's like itching right now. He's like he wants to jump down there and nibble his toes.
I want to set fire to him.
Wow. Tommy as the were pig is a lot more savage than regular Tommy.
That's right. Unleash us on Disney.
Yep.
Yes.
Do it. Come on. Do it.
Yeah, so then we end up at the hospital.
Mm-hmm.
David, well, we don't end up at the hospital, but David does. And yeah, so do you want to keep going, Vinny?
Yeah, there was some sexual harassment thrown his way. From,
yep, talking about his religion.
The one nurse, she took a peek. Yeah. He's still kind of out of it. He's not really like he says his friend's name, like he says Jack. So like there's a hot nurse that's kind of taking care of him a bit, and then there's her friend who comes in who's a little more rude, and she makes a joke about that. She goes, "Yeah, I don't think he's Jewish though." She's like, "How would you know that?" So she's like, "Yeah, I took a peek." And she's like, "Well, that's more of a common practice now." And as she's talking, the doctor's right behind them. And he's like, he tells the one, he's like, "Don't you have things to do?" And she's like, "Yeah, yes, doctor." And she runs out. And the hotter nurse is kind of watching over him, and she lets the doc know that he's kind of he was starting to wake up. He said something. So as he's like looking at him and stuff, she's like, "Yeah." The doctor's like, "Yeah, don't you have to be doing something right now too?" So she leaves, but you can still see she's very interested in David. What happens from there? Because he does fully wake up, but he's having nightmares. He's having these strange dreams of like running through a forest and stuff.
Yeah, he keeps. Yep. Yeah, he keeps on having these like. He keeps on having like these dreams where, first you just see him. You see no one running through a forest. Then you see him as a naked person running through the forest, and he hunts a deer and catches a deer and eats it.
Right.
And then in between all these scenes, he wakes up and talks to the nurse and stuff like that. And then the third scene, you see him running with his jacket on, and then in Draven's little gift screen there, he sees himself on a bed in the forest, and that's what his face looks like. And it always baffles me because I don't know why he sees himself look like that.
Well, it's
'Cause that's-
like it's slowly it's getting to him more and more.
Yeah.
You know,
Well, I think just my thought on here. I think he sees himself that way because that's like the average American representation of a werewolf, minus the extra hair.
Yeah.
But in the old American cinema, they always made the werewolf look a little bit more human in its features.
That makes
Yeah.
sense.
Yeah, there's always a hot nurse. Yeah, it's like there's always a hot nurse or there's a shower scene. That's horror cinema.
There was both in this, and that was fantastic.
Yeah.
What's wrong with hot nurses?
The shower scene was a little bit different. Usually it's just the female in the shower. Yeah, so this one was a little bit different, but yeah.
Yeah, but they had a good moment. It wasn't gratuitous or nothing. It still
No, it wasn't.
It was a little bit gratuitous, but it still worked.
Well, the end because he starts to kiss her belly and he goes down a little bit. But other than that, I mean, it's very tame compared to the stuff that's out there.
This really is a tame movie.
I mean, look at Game of Thrones alone. I mean, jeez.
Well, I'll tell you what, anybody that's catching this stream or anybody talking about this movie and maybe talking to a friend about it, just remember, if you're talking to somebody who's highly offended, do not recommend this movie because the first thing they're going to say is that werewolf did not get consent before they bit him.
This is true. They're going to try to cancel the wolf. I knew it.
Hey, Glinzer, thanks for stopping by. Glinzer says, I hope that the American Werewolf in London rumored remake does not happen. They'll screw it up. Now, I thought there already was a remake that they did.
I don't know.
Maybe you know what? No, it was, what was it called? The Wolfman.
The one with Jack Nicholson?
That might be it. And then there was, unless it's the same movie, there's one where I can't remember the actor's name. I think his last name is Del Toro.
Brotherhood of the Wolf. Is that what you're thinking of?
Well, there was a Wolfman with Benicio del Toro and Hannibal Lecter. What's his name?
Yes, I think that's what the one. Yeah, I think that's the one I'm thinking of.
Yeah, Anthony Hopkins. Yeah. Oh my God, I love that movie.
Yes, I do like that movie too.
Yeah, The Wolfman.
Yeah, I believe that was the last one that Rick Baker did as well, and he did this werewolf as well. The special effects dude.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and other fun fact, he's the first person you see in that movie when the villagers are being attacked by the first werewolf. The very first guy you see, it's him. There's like a cool headshot of him, like an angle, and it's awesome. I love that movie. They did such a great job between combining CGI with practical effects. Yeah, definitely a great movie. We should watch that one too at some point.
Well, the actor, Frankie, the nurses were checking him up because of his 1979 disco hit song, Making It, David Naughton. He, that actor that played David Kessler, I have it written down here. David Naughton. He's very attractive. And he does not. And it's funny because he doesn't look like a student, and I mean these guys look like older guys.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I would say
maybe they're like modern students. They didn't learn to read until after the 9th grade.
They are American.
American Werewolf in Paris. Did they remake that one? I don't think they did.
I don't think they remade it, but I remember it. I saw it once.
Yeah.
Wasn't the chick from Rapid Fire? Wasn't she the werewolf? That we were with Brandon Lee.
Sure.
I'm trying to think of that the guy who plays Andy in the second one. I'm trying to remember where else I'd seen him from.
It's been a minute since I've seen that one. I only saw it one time, the Paris one.
An American Werewolf in Paris. Is it? I think that's the sequel to this movie.
Yeah, it is.
I think so.
Yeah.
It is a sequel, but yeah, the guy who they have play the main protagonist in that one is Andy,
Okay.
and he's the one that becomes the werewolf.
Okay. Yeah, see, I tried to watch it and I just didn't like it, so I shut it off.
See, I like that one too. I thought it was fun. I mean,
I started to watch it and then I got tired, so I went to bed.
I mean, it is kind of weird the way that one starts out with the girl who's trying to commit suicide off the Eiffel Tower.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, doesn't the main guy, he gets bit by the female one?
Yes.
So, all right, so back to the movie. So, yeah, he's in the hospital and you can tell that the nurse and him are getting close.
Mm-hmm.
And as time progresses, he starts to hallucinate his friend Jack, who is the one who got attacked the worst and actually died.
Well, before we got to that part, he was informed that I guess he was there for a while because they had already taken his friend's body and they buried it.
Yeah, when he woke up, he was there for 3 weeks.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's right. It was 3 weeks. You're right. But yeah, apparently, like the parents went to the funeral or whatever. Like he heard about it, and then then you're right. Then he starts to hallucinate, and yeah, he sees Jack there.
Mm-hmm. Wow. So Frankie says American Werewolf is the first movie to win an Oscar for makeup.
Oh wow!
Nice.
That is awesome.
Deserved.
Well-deserved.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So he starts seeing Jack, and Jack is like this undead guy. Now he's got like pieces of skin hanging off him. And can I just say that special effects, man, here's where like the Oscar was well deserved on top of just like the werewolf look himself.
Mm-hmm.
But the way that they made Jack look, like and how, I'm glad you put that up, Draven, because if you're paying attention in the movie, each time he sees Jack looks more and more kind of zombified.
Yep.
I love that.
Yeah, he's progressively getting worse. He's deteriorating even more.
Yep. Yeah.
Now here's something I want to touch on real quick. So we're talking about the look of the werewolf and how I mentioned, like in most of the older versions, they didn't really have the werewolf guy looking more akin to a wolf.
Mm-hmm.
Now, the first one that actually creates a werewolf that's got more like this form that we see in American Werewolf in London was actually the Howling, which debuted in March of 81, and then this debuted in August of 81. So I'm trying to figure out, I wonder where they got their inspiration to do more of a wolf type look for the werewolf as opposed to what was the traditional Universal Monsters aspect of what a werewolf would look like.
Mm-hmm.
So there were a number of films that had the werewolf looking more like a wolf, and let's definitely get into that after we cover like the movie, because there are a few ones off the top of my head that I can think of. But yeah, so he's seeing Jack a lot in the hospital. And then Jack is basically telling him that the werewolf curse, the line has to end with David, or he'll create more kind of like these zombies.
Yeah, he's telling him that he's going to turn into this werewolf, and David's not believing it.
Yep, and that when he turns, he's going to kill people. He's going to attack people and turn people into these undead zombies basically.
Mhm.
And it's horrible for those people because since they have a violent death, they can't move on.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, they're gonna be stuck like that, like him. And he's saying that it's hard. He's telling them how horrible it is. This isn't
Yep.
in existence. You got to do it because you got to off yourself because if this happens, you're gonna doom so many more souls. Is basically what he's telling them.
We were attacked by a werewolf. I was murdered, an unnatural death. And now I walk the earth in limbo until the werewolf's curse is lifted. The wolf's bloodline must be severed. The last remaining werewolf must be destroyed. It's you, David. Beware the moon, David.
Yeah, that was great stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, then he's like he starts screaming for the nurse, and Jack's not there anymore. She's like, hey, it was a nightmare, another nightmare or something.
Mhm.
But then then they want to discharge him. Like there's like kind of no reason for him to stay there anymore. But the nurse is like kind of feeling for him anyway. She wanted him to take a pill or whatever. He wouldn't do it. So like you can see how they kind of connecting because she kind of she cuts his food for him and feeds him basically, and you can start to see that they're having feelings for one another. So when he's like, I got like he's scared because he keeps getting more and more of these nightmares, like the one that Draven was shown before in the forest. And again, she keeps running to. She's like the only person who's like really there for him. So she's like, well, if you get discharged, I don't normally do this, but you could stay with me for a little bit, and so that eventually happens. And like when they're leaving the hospital, like you could like they have more of a really like a courting kind of thing on the way to her place, and then by the time they get there, like she's ready to drop her panties for him and everything, and that's what happens, and they get it on. And
she's like, you can watch some TV while I get a shower.
And then you see them in the shower together.
Yep.
He's like, I know, I'd much rather join you.
Yep.
So after that, like she's sleeping, he goes to take a piss, and when he's done, he taps the mirror, and you see his friend standing there, and he freaks out again. He's like, this isn't happening. He goes, oh, it's happening, David. They walk into the living room, and he's telling him again. He goes, tomorrow's a full moon, and you're gonna turn, and you're gonna kill people, and he's like, he's kind of flipping out, and she hears him, so she comes into the room. Her
And
voice.
What's interesting at that point is that I don't know if you guys caught this, but she says, I heard voices.
Yep.
So if he's just a hallucination, how does she hear more than one voice?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I noticed that too. I was like, interesting.
Yeah, right. That I wonder if that was a mistake in the script.
Maybe, but they just got it on. So maybe he transferred something over to her. I don't know. I'm spitballing.
Oh, well, there's another possibility. Maybe she's one of those people that actually have that gift to be able to hear voices from the other side. So, I mean, there's a whole lot of left open to conjecture there.
Yeah, that too, because a lot of this stuff, you don't see that in normal werewolf movies where they talk about the victims of the werewolves, but he's actually being haunted by them,
Yeah, and this was, and in this scene, this was the first time that he saw Jack while he wasn't just dreaming.
Right.
So that was different too. So I wonder.
Good. But again, I like that they have a slight supernatural twist on top of just the werewolf stuff. Like there's more going on, which is pretty cool. Because again, they don't break into the curse fully either. You just kind of know about it from the villagers. Which in the meantime, the doctor, he's getting curious. He actually goes over to that village. He's going to find that place. Because David kept saying that it wasn't a man. They kept saying it was a crazy man who escaped some asylum who attacked them. He's going, no, it was a wolf. It was some kind of big wolf or a dog or something that attacked us. He's adamant about it. So the doctor goes over because he heard that, they said they were eyewitnesses and whatnot. And when he got there, they kind of treated the doctor the same way that David and Jack were treated when they first walked in. and one of the guys, you can see he wants to talk. He excuses himself, and when the doctor goes to leave, the guy's telling him that he got bit. He's gonna turn. He's getting into it, and one of the other villagers is like, "Stop him! Shut up! You said too much." Or like you can say their secret is kind of getting out, because they didn't even know really the full extent of what had happened to David, or if he was going to turn or not. But they're believing it that he will. At least some of them are.
Oh yeah, you can tell at that point they're all in on it. Well, you could tell that from the beginning, really, the way that they all acted in the pub.
Yeah, I mean, it's really great. It's solid how they did this.
Yeah, this was a very well scripted and acted movie.
Yeah.
I really liked how in the pub they show how this town has its really dark secrets, and that lady, that barmaid, kind of like wanted to protect these kids.
Mm-hmm.
And that guy was like, "Are you daft? Do you want everybody to know our business?" And I like understand that, because if you start telling people, if you just start letting the secret out that this town, that there's a werewolf curse in this town, basically, people are gonna be like, "What? Nah," and then they're gonna go check it out, and then you're gonna have tons of werewolves and stuff roaming the earth, and just all kind of savagery.
Yeah, it causes bigger problems for sure.
Yeah, that was well done. This movie's great.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I dig it. And in the meantime, the nurse has got to go back to work, so she's like, "Yeah, Dave, you can hang out here for a bit, and we'll we'll do something afterwards or whatever the following day." But she has her shifts that she has to do. So he's kind of like he's bumming around her apartment a bit. He got locked out when he was saying goodbye to her, so he went through the window. But then, like, you can see, he keeps opening up the refrigerator. He's like, I'm not hungry. Like, he's kind of listening to old music. He opens up the front door, and he's getting all chilly. He goes back inside. He decides he's going to read a book, and then he just starts burning up. It's nighttime. The full moon is out, and there's the big famous transformation scene. Like, he rips off his shirt. Like, he starts screaming in pain out of nowhere.
Mm-hmm.
Like he was all calm reading a book, and then all of a sudden, bam! Like someone just put a sledgehammer right between the eyes. And then it's just that kind of grotesque, famous transformation scene, which was again amazing how they did that.
Mm-hmm. Do you guys want me to show it?
Sure, go for it.
Go for it.
Tommy made this one.
Jesus Christ! Alive! God! Fire! I'm
When suddenly there
That was so great.
Awesome.
Mm-hmm.
So freaking great. And I love how they did it slowly. It wasn't quick. And that's made it, I think, even more impactful. Because you never see
drag out the pain.
Yep.
Yeah. It's So I definitely want to talk about that transformation, and we can wait until after the scene by scene review to do that. But Frankie says, "I love the design of the wolf and the sound of its howl. My favorite of all the Wolfman movies." Yeah, same here, Frankie.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't know if you heard before, but yeah, it was like 9 different sound bites they put together.
Yeah.
And yeah, you had big cat sounds, wolves, and a train they used to do that.
That's funny. I didn't think, like, I would have never thought that they used a train. That's funny.
Right?
Soul Assassin says you don't get transformations like that anymore. Nowadays, it's quick CGI change. Yes, and definitely, that's something that's been lost in werewolf movies.
Mm-hmm. But I think that they recaptured it in that Benicio del Toro one when they have
Yes.
him in the asylum. And again, you
Yeah.
got to remember that's also Rick Baker. He helped with that again, and they mixed that with CGI. And I thought it worked.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah, Glenzer. Yeah, that was the thing. Like this is one of 3 werewolf inspired or wolf type movies that came out that year. So the first one that came out was The Howling. The second one that came out was Wolfen. And a lot of people forget about that movie. That movie ends really weird too, when the guy gets his head cut off and the mouth is just still sitting there talking at the end after the guy gets detached. And then, of course, the last one you have is American Werewolf in London. And then they followed it up the next year with a Wolf Devil Woman, and in '83 they had the Wolf, and then eventually started getting all the Howling movies, and eventually you get American Werewolf in Paris. So I mean, a good group of werewolf movies really kicked it off for a while, and you started getting a lot of werewolf movies until they kind of killed it. They dried up the well by putting too many out, I think.
Yeah.
Possibly, yeah.
Yeah. I definitely want to talk about that after the review, because I've got so much to say about werewolves. But yeah, so he's transforming in the apartment, and I thought, and real quick, I thought it was hilarious how he's saying goodbye to Nurse Alex in the morning, and he gets locked out of the apartment, and the kid with the dog starts just like barking incessantly at him, and the kids are like laughing their asses off about it. And then he's trying to get in through the windows, and there's a cat that hisses at him like animals are not liking him.
Yep. Which is something that's so great whenever they put it into those werewolf movies. It makes perfect sense, you know?
Yeah.
They can sense it. They can sense the evil. And again, it's because it's also some kind of like canine type thing.
Yeah.
It's great. I love how they did this.
Like, dogs don't like him because he's a wolf human, and cats don't like him because he's a dog, and like he can't win.
No, he can't. Oh shit. Good stuff. But yeah, when he transforms, then you're seeing through his eyes basically as he attacks the first couple of people. And it's pretty nuts. It's this young couple that they were going to surprise their friends. Instead of going through the front door, they decided to go through the back door. And when they went out there, he attacked them, and you hear his howl and everything. And the people inside are like, "Oh, I think there's something going on out there. It might be those hooligan kids again." And the one dude goes to walk out, and he steps in his friend's remains.
Yeah, you hear the squelch.
Oh yeah, that's that was crazy. And then from there, did he go after the bums next? I think the homeless dudes.
From there,
I think it was. Yeah, it was the homeless guys after that. Because there's a dog that kind of runs away, gets scared, and then he attacks those guys. And then I believe it was the dude in the subway station.
Yep.
Yeah, he's getting off the train, and he's like the only one there. And he hears something like in the dark tunnels, but he keeps moving, and then he sees something, but we don't see it yet. And he starts running. He's running out of there, and it's kind of like a little bit of a rat maze underground there. And he drops his umbrella. Then he trips and he falls on the escalator. And when he looks back, that's when we finally start to see it. And it's not a close-up shot. It's a far away shot. It's kind of Hitchcock-like bird's eye view of the guy he's laid out on the escalator that's going upward. And you just see the paws on the top of the screen. And then like up to about like the top of his head. And then yeah, it's kind of like it comes at him. But again, we don't fully see it. And then we see David, like he wakes up in the zoo, right?
Yeah, he wakes up in the wolf's cage.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting.
Yeah, he's just like
and all the other wolves are avoiding him.
Yeah, the wolves are like kind of avoiding him. That's the best way to put it. But he's also kind of like, oh no, don't hurt me, because he's in human form at that point.
Yeah, but no, I don't think it was that. It wasn't that they were avoiding him, because the one kind of comes right up to him. There's one that comes right up to him when he stands up right before he runs out of the cage. So they weren't really avoiding. They were just kind of like chilling with them.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
That's what I got there. That's
a little unsure too.
I thought they were. Yeah, I thought they were a little trepidatious, but yeah.
No, because the one's right there, and he's like, "Whoa, doggy!" And he jumps out.
He was drinking a pina colada at Trader Vic's. His hair was perfect. Ah, man, I love that song.
Weak.
Good to see you, Immortal Coil and Lion Ratton. Thanks for stopping by.
Hell yeah.
I had to redo that song, Were Pig in Florida.
So after he wakes up in the wolf's cage, it's, oh my God, this is so funny.
Yes.
He's naked.
Mm-hmm.
And I could have sworn that I made a clip of it, but I guess not, because I don't see it here.
That's in her private collection.
Well, for a second you do see something.
Yep.
And so he's like, he's trying to like hide his junk and also kind of like stay hidden at the same time, and he goes to run into. There's
people everywhere. Like it's kind of early, but still, they're the workers from the zoo, and then there's regular people there. And he was hiding behind one bush. He went to pop out of it, and you see some old lady. And he's like, "Hello there."
Yeah, and instead he makes his way to a bush, and it's oh man, the scene could never be made today.
That's
or I don't know.
Yeah, right. Unless it's Kevin Spacey and Tom Hanks and James Gunn, then you could probably make.
Yeah, he's like, there's this kid in a typical, like stereotypical British school clothing, and he has these balloons. And he's like, hey, kid. He's like, trying to get the attention of the kid. The kid turns his attention to him. And he goes, I'll give you £1 if you give me your balloons. And then the kid says something, and then he's like, I'll give you £2 if you give me your balloons. And he's like, why would I do that, or something like that? Or who are you, or you're a stranger?
He said he was a balloon thief.
Yeah, and then he goes, I'm the famous balloon thief. And he's like, why would a balloon thief want to give me £2? And he's like, come here and I'll show you. And the kid walks over and he takes the kid's balloons and hides his junk with the balloons.
But as he's booking it through the zoo. And as you see him running by, there's a couple on sitting on a bench, and he just grabs the jacket that's there, and he continues running.
He grabs the woman's red coat.
Yeah, because the next scene you see, he's waiting for like the double-decker bus. They're panning from the feet of everyone, and then you see him that he's barefoot. They pan up, and he's got the woman's coat on.
Yeah.
The guy next to him is looking at him. He's like, it's chilly out today.
That was fun.
That was hilarious. And then he makes it to the nurse's place, to Alex's apartment, and apparently they've been looking for him. And like he walks in, and she's like, what the? Well, oh my god, she's so happy to see him. She didn't even realize how he's dressed, and then she's like, what's going on here? And he's like, I don't know. What happened last night? I woke up in the zoo.
Yeah, and he's feeling great.
Yeah, he's feeling amazing. He's got so much energy, and as he's getting dressed, the phone rings, and it's the doctor, and the doctor says, have you found him yet? And she goes, yeah, he just came in. He said, oh, good, bring him in immediately, as soon as you could. And as they're talking on the phone, like he's just like he's all horny. He wants to make it with her, and she's being all playful. And she's like, no, he seems normal. I mean, he's, kind of excited, but other than that, there's nothing really wrong with them. But the doctor, you can see how concerned he is. And he's like, bring him in right away. You want me to send the car? And you're like, no, we'll be there, no problem. And then you see them outside, and they eventually do get a cab. But he's still like, he's got all this great energy and stuff. As soon as she's getting in the cab, they get in there, and he's still like, he's got his hands all over her. And the driver starts to talk about what happened the night before, and they go, what happened? Like, you didn't hear? There were people mutilated last night in all different parts of town. 6 people completely ripped apart. And he's stop the cab, stop. He gets out of the car, and he knows it's him. He knows he was responsible. So all of his joy just went out the window, and he starts screaming that he needs to be arrested, and he tries to find a cop, and he's trying to make a scene. And she's trying to calm him down, like, no, come on, we just have to, we got to get to the hospital. And he goes, it's going to be another full moon tonight. No, it's arrest me. And he's trying to be arrested, and it's not working. And he's trying to insult the Queen. And Charles, that was hilarious.
Yeah.
He called him a bundle of sticks. It was funny. And it's not happening. And like, he wants to be kind of like left alone, and he's still kind of spazzing out. How did he get away? Oh yeah, he just ran through he ran across the street before he got hit. And he's like, he goes, I love you. And she's startled, and he's like, I don't want to see you get hurt. I stay away from me. And he runs across the street. So as he's getting away, she decides to go to see the doctor anyway, and he's making phone calls. He's calling back home. Yeah. He's trying to get a hold of his parents to tell them that he loves them, but it's his youngest sibling, his sister, and he's just saying how much that he loves his family and all that. And she's like, you can't hear her side of it; you only hear his. But it's like a classic kid would respond. He's like, no, I really love you. Would you just tell mom and dad that I love them? And like, what are you doing alone anyway? And what? I was never left alone at 10, and so I'm 10 and a half. Like.
I'm sure that conversation on the other side was, why are you being so damn weird?
Right.
Yeah.
But like the banter's good because you only hear his side of it, and you could assume what's being said on the other side easily. So he hangs up.
That was a sad phone call.
It was, because then automatically, like, he's got his little pocket knife, and he wants to go across his wrist, and he can't do it. And that's when he notices Jack across the street. And he's kind of waving to him.
Yeah, and Jack was in front of a adult-only movie theater.
In Piccadilly, what is it? Piccadilly Square?
Piccadilly Square, yeah.
Or whatever. Yeah.
They call it Piccadilly.
Was it Piccadilly Square? Is that where it was?
Yeah, Piccadilly Square, Piccadilly Circus or Square or whatever. Yeah.
But you got those moments where Jack is trying to trick him into getting himself killed.
Yeah. Well, he kept telling him the whole time too. So he gets inside there. He pays for a ticket. He goes in there, and he sees Jack's in the way back. So he goes to sit next to him, and Jack is like telling him, those people, like the other victims are here. I think you should talk to them. And then and you see his last kill. He goes, yeah, he's still very fresh. So you could see his face is all ripped apart, and he's got he's all bloody and stuff too. And the guy's saying, he goes, yeah, you left my wife a widow. My kids have no father now. And then here's that couple, and the lady's demeanor was great. It was still like, yeah, everything's a-okay, but off yourself. each of them acted differently, and then like you see the 3 homeless guys, and you're like, yeah, you got off yourself, like, you know, you did this to us, and like he's kind of losing it even more basically, and yeah, like the banter's good, and they're saying it. It's like, yeah, these people we're gonna be stuck in limbo. Like you have to go bye pretty much, and yeah, it's getting late. The moon's coming out, and he's by himself there in the theater, and he's starting to transform, and one guy's just staring at him, and he's telling him, "Get away from me now! You're in danger!" And you just see like his nails are growing, and then like his face starts to extend, and then like you just hear nothing but screaming at that point.
The way his nails come out, like, oh man,
yeah, that was awful.
That was so realistic too.
Oh yeah.
We have a random question from Immortal Coil. Who would win in a fight, David Naughton, Lon Chaney Jr., Seth Green, or Michael J. Fox? So
yeah, because they were all werewolves.
Yeah.
I invalidate that question just because of Seth Green being on that list.
Well, he was a werewolf in Buffy.
In Buffy, yeah. I think David Naughton.
Yeah.
I think he was the most vicious werewolf.
I think so too. Lon Chaney, although I mean he did fight Dracula and Frankenstein. I don't know what his powers said, if he was like super strong or not, but I think David, he might be the winner just because he is more savage. And let's face it, he literally bit a cop's head off. He decapitated the guy.
And he doesn't respond to humans that know him. So in Seth Green's character on Buffy, he was able to, when Willow would say, "It's me, Oz, it's me," he could transform back into human form. David Naughton's werewolf, he doesn't do that. When Alex is like, "David, it's me, I love you," he that doesn't register with him. He's a savage beast still.
Right, and Seth Green is a creep, just like Tom Hanks and Kevin Spacey and all them. He's in that camp. Really,
but
really
we are not. But that's not part of the question.
Right, but we should just see David take his head off with one bite as well, and then Michael J. Fox. I think that would be a fun fight because not only he could play basketball, but he does have super strength and he could jump high and far as well.
Yeah, because he's more of a Wolfman type werewolf.
Right. But even in that in the Teen Wolf, they established that he does have super strength. They had a couple of parts where you really see it. So
well, it would be really stupid to be a werewolf and not have super strength.
Right, but at the same time,
you just have the hair.
I think it would be a great fight. Him and
well, if you just had the hair, wouldn't you just be Sicilian?
Yeah.
Yes.
Is that some kind of personal attack or something?
Or Greek.
Oh, and Jack Nicholson. That's right.
Yeah.
This is my Wolfman from Monster Squad.
Yeah, I love that Wolfman too. That was great.
Yeah.
You know, Glinzer, it's always good when people don't mention Twilight, but I do have to say that the werewolves in Twilight were not bad. I don't like the movies, don't get me wrong, but the werewolves were actually pretty good.
Well, that's the same thing with the Howling. The Howling, the way the werewolves looked in the Howling, they didn't look bad at all. It was just the story was pretty terrible.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't think I've seen the Howling, or if I did, maybe once. I can't remember it.
They definitely just watched the first one. Subsequently, they get much worse as they went on. I think they went up to like 5 or 6. It got really bad towards the end.
Yeah, damn. I think they have 6 of them. Oof. Okay, so he's transforming in the theater, and then oh my god, this was so funny. So yeah, he's the cops come and sees that he's transforming. He runs out and barricades the theater.
No, they find the bodies that are all mutilated,
Yes,
And then
that's
they see,
right.
and then they see he was eating one of them, and then you see the guy run out of there. It's like, it's in there, the beast is in there.
It's from the Teen Wolf TV series.
Yep, I liked
which is
that
so
show.
good.
Yep, I liked that show.
You're lying. That's Superman.
Nope, he was this first.
Yeah, he was better as a werewolf.
Yeah,
Okay.
he is better as a werewolf.
All right, we're getting off track. So yeah. So they see the dead bodies. That's right, Vinny. Thank you for remembering that. In the theater, and then the cop panics, goes out, barricades the door with the help of other cops, and then everybody is freaking out in the square and is like, "What's going on? What's going on?" And then another cop comes up and is like, "What's going on here?" He's like the chief of cops or whatever, and all of a sudden, David the werewolf comes out, busts through that screen, and bites his head off, and it goes rolling.
Yep.
And that was hilarious. But do you know what was even funnier?
What?
Did you catch how much of a traffic pileup that the werewolf caused?
He caused so much chaos. It was insane. Because he starts running all over the streets, and people are trying to dodge. Like, they don't know what the hell's going on. What is this giant thing? And yeah, they're all just. They became Asian drivers all at once.
They swerved to miss him, and then it actually gets absurd, and I think they planned it because I could not stop laughing. And
the cop who gets pinned in between two cars.
I know, and I was gonna clip that, but I was like, I might get in trouble for doing this. Plus, people get run over, people get squished. Like,
yeah, they do.
It's actually hilarious. The carnage.
Yeah, the one flying out of the double-decker bus. Jeez.
Twilight Werewolf drinks Bud Light.
That's true.
No, cut the crap. He was a good werewolf. Soul Assassin says, if it was in America, we would have ran the werewolf over. I don't know. I think some random guy with a gun would have just put him down immediately.
Oh, yeah. Someone in the Midwest, there would be no werewolf pandemic.
It takes a silver bullet.
I know.
Well, they brought that up, and they were laughing about that. He's like, "Get real, David," because he's like, all the ghosts were saying, or the victims in limbo were saying that, like, you could use a gun, and it's like, does it have to be a silver bullet? And Jack's like, "Get real, David." This isn't a movie.
This movie was so damn good. So underrated.
Yeah, it had the right moments all over the place.
It really did. It really did. So he's, as Vinny shows in his avatar, the werewolf is just kind of like nipping at everybody. He's nipping at people walking by. He's nipping at the cars and stuff. And then he ends up in the back alley, and they go to corner him. The cops go to corner him with their guns. And but then Alex, the hot nurse Alex, she makes it there.
Yeah.
And this is basically the end of the movie. And she goes, she walks up, and she like doesn't want them to shoot him, but she walks up and she's like, David, is that you? And he's kind of just standing there, being a wolf. Yeah. And she's like, I love you.
You could, when she says it, his expression's kind of like, you see, like his brow isn't as, furrowed. It calms a bit. Like she thinks she's getting through to him, but then.
Yeah, it makes you think for a minute that he's gonna be like, he's gonna transform and be like, oh, it's you, but then he doesn't.
Yeah, he's about to lunge forward, and the cops just start to unload on him.
Yeah.
And from that point, it's quick. It's very quick because then they show him right away. Like they look down and you see that it's all human David. It's and the cops are kind of running up next to her, and she's horrified and in shock.
Pretty good. And she cries.
She cries, and the credits just roll right there.
Yeah.
Very abrupt.
It is. It's a very abrupt ending. It's kind of like, whoa, that's the end of it. If you're not expecting it, it's like, wow. And yeah, of course you're not expecting it if it's your first time watching, but yeah.
What do you know why? Real quick, getting back to the whole silver bullet thing. Do you even know why that became a thing?
Where did that?
Silver was actually meant. It's presumed to be very pure. It's presumed to be a very pure metal, and because it's so pure, it supposedly has the effect of warding off evil.
Right.
So that's why they wind up using it for silver bullets. But they also say that if you're going to have silver bullets, you're supposed to have them blessed and everything like that. That's why most of the chains that you would see people with crucifix they're wearing, they were always silver. They weren't gold.
And it's weird because in some lore, silver works against vampires, and then in other
well, that doesn't happen until 1928. I forget the author's name, but he's the one that pens that into existence. Before then, it doesn't exist as maybe being a deterrent to a vampire's ability to heal. But once again, like stories that don't circulate until 1928.
Yeah, that is interesting.
Nice. Yeah, silver's a hell of a thing.
You gonna be okay, Draven?
I'll be all right.
Yeah, we're not hunting vampires on this stream.
No, not on this episode.
No.
Bad bros forever.
Somebody needs to send Draven a bar of silver to see what happens.
Silver wards off many diseases. That's the biblical account of its power.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Okay, so is there anything you Soul Assassin's got a cool link. American Werewolf filming locations. And he's got a YouTube link here. That's pretty cool. Thank you for doing that, Soul Assassin.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so do you guys want to discuss anything in the movie before we talk about vampire transformations and the modern look and all of that?
Oh, specific scenes or something?
Yeah. Like anything. I think we pretty much got into it as we were doing the review.
The one thing I'd like to say is I like what they do with Jack. How you see his disintegration, even though he's just a spirit, how his spirit form is still disintegrating and he's decaying. I think that's actually pretty hilarious.
Yep.
Yeah, it is.
Yep. I actually mentioned that, and I love how they did that because not only does at first we start seeing Jack just when David is dreaming, and he looks bloody and scratched, like he did when he died. And then as the movie progresses, David sees him outside of dreaming. And he's also getting closer to transforming too. So I wonder if that had something to do with it. Like as we were getting closer to the full moon, the pull of being a werewolf got stronger, and the supernatural got amped up a bit, and he started seeing Jack outside his dreams. Because I thought, like we all acknowledged that Nurse Alex, she said, "I heard voices." I just can't stop thinking about that.
Yeah, that is interesting.
Yeah. I mean, and the way that the makeup that they used, the special effects and everything, I mean, just so good.
Yeah, top notch.
Big time.
Again, they definitely deserve that Oscar for sure.
Yeah. Very well deserved. And one that I actually forgot to play that, but during David's transformation, he's kind of pauses for a minute and he says, I'm sorry I called you a walking meatloaf, Jack. And that actually comes from this.
You're not real.
Oh, don't be a putz, David. Tomorrow night's the full moon. You're gonna change. You'll become...
I know.
I know. A monster. Are you really dead, Jack?
What do you think?
I think I've lost my mind. I think you're not real. I think you're just another part of a bad dream.
You've got to believe me, David.
Believe what? That tomorrow night, beneath the full moon, I'll sprout hair and fangs and eat people? Bullshit.
Oh, God damn it, David, please believe me. You'll kill and make others like me. I'm not having a nice time here. This is not pretend, David.
I will not be threatened by a walking meatloaf.
I don't know what kind of meatloaf he was eating, but he should have really like questioned his life choices at that point.
I'm not a big fan of meatloaf. Sorry.
Oh, really? I love meatloaf.
Ugh.
Well, my mother's meatloaf was awesome.
You got to have
Italians-
meatloaf with bacon in it. Bacon makes everything better, Draven.
Yeah, Italians when they make meatloaf, it's closer to a meatball. It's just bigger.
Yeah, that's exactly.
See, my dad would put onions and peppers and shit in it, and it's like, yeah, I'm good.
I can do without the peppers.
Oh, my mother used to put roasted peppers on top of it.
Oh, roasted
Yeah.
peppers.
Okay, so Soul Assassin says the more Jack decays, the more animal takes over.
Mhm.
That is true. It definitely does coincide.
Yeah.
And then RR says his dad let him watch this when he was 6 and it scared the crap out of him. And the special effects still hold to this day. They really do.
Yep.
They really do. A lot. I mean, I love 80s movies pretty much no matter what. I don't care if they age well or not, but this movie really does hold up.
Jesus, you know, I hear you saying that you love 80s movie. I swear to all the Jesus Christmas and sweet baby Jesus, if you change the channel name again, I'm going to kill you.
No, I promise. I promise. Real horror.
Trina's I love 80s and horror.
My first time watching it, or at least the bit that I remember was them walking through the moors or whatever. Is when it was on was that Joe Bob's The Last Drive-Thru or whatever back in the day on TNT, like super late at night, and I think I ended up falling asleep because, you know, as a kid you're like trying to stay up super late to watch kind of stuff like that.
Yep. Guys, check this comment out from Tina Bojan. I'm loving the stream. I've always wanted to watch this movie, but I'm too sensitive to gore in media. This walk through the plot with snippets of scenes is the best thing for me. I'm so glad to hear that. I'm glad this is working for you.
Hell yeah.
That's awesome. And Glinzer, somebody time him out. No, I'm just kidding. He says there's such a thing as vegan meatloaf. I do not ever want to hear that on
Me
my
neither.
channel again.
No, that sounds like some propaganda from the left. No.
I guarantee you I could make Draven a meatloaf that he would thoroughly enjoy.
Is it made of guinea pigs?
Come on.
That it's got a frog.
It's
base.
made of
Piggy
regular
side.
pigs. It's got all the good stuff. It's got bacon in there. Maybe you could throw a little pork roll in there, and then of course you got the ground meat and everything. Put all kinds of cheeses on it, including Parmesan, mozzarella,
That actually
Parmesan.
really does
and
sound
what's the sprinkle cheese?
Parmesan?
No, the other one, Asago.
Romano.
The Asago sprinkle cheese.
Asiago.
Asiago. Yes, there it is. Boom, that stuff.
This is been cooking with Tommy, Chef Tommy.
I know. Now I'm hungry, damn it.
Yeah, my
Good
mother,
stuff.
Vinny, you actually said it best, and that's actually the way that my mother would make it. Is like it was a square. It was like a rectangle shaped meatball.
Pretty much, yeah. Just big enough to cut up for everyone.
Yeah, it was great.
Breadcrumbs, eggs, cheese. You know, all the fixins.
This is a great horror flick. It's much better than I agree. Tommy's a fan of the sequel, and we will not hold that against him. But yeah, this movie is awesome.
Okay,
I haven't
let's put
seen
it
the
this
sequel,
way.
so I can't give an opinion.
Well, let's put it this way: a lot of modern horror, or American Werewolf in Paris.
Oh, no, retro all the time.
Yeah, what was that movie? Like 91 or something?
New horror is
Yeah,
very
I
hit
think
or
so.
miss. When it comes to good stuff. It's always a winner when it's like 80s or
I heard
early
that
90s.
I heard that Pooh, Blood and Honey wasn't supposedly very good.
I didn't
know.
see that.
I heard that too, but I'm still gonna check it out.
I want to see it though.
And I heard
I forgot all about it
was
until you just mentioned
retarded.
it.
Soul Assassin, click one if you want a horror cooking stream. Once this channel gets huge, I'll do a second channel which is real horror cooking and horror themed food.
Nice.
That'd be awesome.
Oh, can you do a cooking with pigs? We can guest spot on that.
Yes, of course.
Beautiful.
But yeah. Yeah, so I really wanted to discuss the Tommy brought it up, the modern werewolf look. And yeah, I'm not sure when that began. But you mentioned the Howling.
The Howling is the first one I remember seeing it in.
Mm-hmm.
So they're the one that actually have that more, I guess you would call the traditional lichen form that we're used to seeing now, where they stand up on two legs, but they've got like more of the physical attributes of a wolf than they do a person.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That was the first time I recall seeing it. And like I said, that in the 81 list of movies that came out, because even though Wolfen deals with a wolf, it's not technically a werewolf movie. It has to do with Native Americans and stuff like that, and a curse. But the Howling is the first one where you see this more lichen look.
Mm-hmm. That's interesting. Yeah, I've actually never even thought to look up when the modern werewolf design happened.
Well, here's the other funny thing. So if you look back in history, as far as like the old depictions of what a werewolf looked like, obviously the first one goes all the way back to France. And in that one, they make it look more like what we see with the Kessler wolf. So it's more of a wolf-looking creature. It's just bigger.
Mm-hmm.
And it may be a little bit disproportionate. But otherwise, it just looks like a gigantic wolf.
Mm.
So I think when they did this one, they leaned more into what those early reports that were coming out of France of what a werewolf was. Howling, like I said, is the first one that I know of where they have them walking bipedal.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, because David, the Kessler werewolf, this guy, I think he only walks on all fours like a regular wolf.
Mm-hmm.
Do we ever see him just walk on two legs? Do they do that in the sequel?
So. Oh, I don't know about the sequel.
No, and this one it's only been all fours.
Yeah, that's what I think too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we saw it. So yeah, this movie is definitely all fours. So they went more wolf.
Yeah, absolutely. That's why they figured they did as well. I mean, that's how you have them.
Yep. But Frankie says, I think 80s to 90s horror is better than modern because practical effects make it tangible, like it can be real. That's scary, not CGI. Yeah, I agree.
Right. Yep.
Practical for horror, practical is always better. Like
the only way that the best use of CGI for horror movies is like when the weapon is like going through somebody or whatever. Like, that's your best bet for it. And they could add extra blood and all that type of stuff, and like it adds to it. But I think like what they did in the Benicio del Toro one, it was a good balance because there was a ton of practical. And where they did the CGI made more sense. Like they did it like on his legs and stuff like that when he's running and he's like on the rooftops and stuff. Like it makes sense, you know. His transformation, they added to it. They did a little bit of both. They did practical and the CGI while he was transforming. So yeah, there's elements where if you find the right balance, it could work. But more or less, I would agree. Practical is always the better way to go if you could do it practical.
In recent, the mix of good CGI or mix of CGI and practical was probably Vecna from
Oh,
the new
Stranger Things.
Stranger Things.
Yep.
They did a really good job of using both elements
Yeah, I agree.
effectively.
Yep, I agree. It's
I would think, like, as far as monsters are concerned and the way they're designed, like if you look at some of the early Godzilla stuff
Mm-hmm.
and even King Kong, you look at the stuff that they're doing now with both of those. I think that's probably one of the few places where I've ever seen CGI for a completely animated monster or creature actually look really good.
Mm-hmm.
Like in all the stuff that they do to actually make it look like it's living and breathing, from the nostrils flaring out when he snorts, the eyes blinking, like all that stuff. I mean, I think there are a few instances where they can do it right, but I think they worry too much about making it look over fantastical and not worrying about like real life details. And I think that's where, you know, the MonsterVerse stuff with Toho and everybody else being involved, I think that's where they've gotten it right. Now, if some of these other companies could do something like that with a werewolf, you could probably have a really amazing looking werewolf movie, but are they going to put all that time in there to do it correctly?
Mm-hmm.
And that's something I want to get into. Soul Assassin says the very first werewolf movie was about a native turning into a wolf and was supposed to be very intense, but lost now. I didn't know that. And then RR says he believes the modern Lycan look has a lot of elements from Hammer films. Oh.
The Hammer films, they did some good stuff over there too.
So yeah, now so we're getting into the practical versus CGI effects as far as werewolves go, and that is definitely part of the reason why there aren't a lot of good werewolf movies. It's because you have to have a good story and you have to have a good transformation, because everybody wants to see the transformation. That's like, yeah. And this movie, I think, was, for me anyway, in my opinion, was the first to do both like perfectly. And it's hard now because when you focus on see a lot of werewolf movies outside of this movie, you have a lot of just the wolf, right? And you don't have a lot of story, or you have a lot of story and not much wolf, and that's because of cost. I don't know what it is that they can't, for some reason they just can't take inspiration from this movie and apply it, but the formula is definitely there. I mean, this movie is story heavy and it's got the best transformation in it, in my opinion.
Yeah, you can't really beat this. This movie is solid all the way.
Yep.
Love
it. Oh, yeah, I agree, Frankie. Yeah, this is more of like a direwolf design. Yep.
Yep. Yeah, because he's massive.
Yep. Yes, absolutely. Like if that was done with CGI, it wouldn't have the same I feel like there would be something missing if it was just CGI. The practical effects just kind of make it real.
Definitely.
Takes a lot more skill to accomplish something like that. So they have most of these people are just like, they're glued to the computers and, they're living in these worlds and, oh yeah, you do it like that. But most of them too are like, there's a lot of people who get in trouble because they're all using shortcuts. So they're stealing assets from other people. They're doing stuff like that. So I think it's just going to get worse, to be honest. If you go back to practical effects, like you actually have to do this all by hand. You have to sculpt it. You got to do all that great stuff. The molding, the casting. And again, like look what they do with fat suits now. They're incredible. You can't tell the difference.
Yeah.
So there's a technology on that end that's there's people who are still mastering and perfecting that stuff. So yeah.
Yeah, because the whale, like that, did a really good job with the fat suit.
The dude in John Wick 4.
Oh yeah. I forgot about that.
Yeah, what's his face? That martial artist. That guy's not fat.
Nope.
But he put on that suit. He looked very believable in that role. Or even his hands.
Yeah, I think there's a bit of a revival as far as practical effects are going. I think we're gonna see more of it in certain areas. Because we were really like relying on CGI for everything, but we're starting to see a little more practical effects now.
Yeah.
But Soul Assassin says, I think monster films work better in certain time periods, like prehistory to late 80s. And I think that's mostly true. I think the new like Godzilla Kong movies have been good, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, those are great. That's a lot of fun. That especially the one on the island where he steps on Samuel L. Jackson. Like that was
Island.
Yeah, that was so good.
It was good.
I really
even though Brie Larson's in it.
Yeah, I completely forgot that she was in it because she was so irrelevant.
Yep.
But she annoyed me the least in that role. But yeah, the CGI they did on him was holy crap. That was so much fun. He looked incredible.
Yeah, it works for certain things, and I agree. Our you can't beat the reality of practical effects. Our eyes know real matter from digital images. Absolutely, you can spot CGI for sure.
For sure, yeah.
Probably a good like balance between the two is like needed.
Yes, yes, a good balance. Like Vinny and I have mentioned, the Wolfman remake. They did a good job of doing kind of like a 50-50 with that.
Yep. Really
and Frankie says he needs a muscle suit. And this is another good link. Soul Assassin has a link in the chat. Making Monsters, the American Werewolf behind the scenes. Awesome.
That's cool.
Yeah. Very cool. So yeah, definitely anyone who hasn't seen this movie, except if you know, there is a definite let me think, one definite gory part where Jack is attacked. Is that the only part that's gory?
Kinda.
It's the only one they really spend that much time on.
Yeah.
Because all the other ones, they're pretty quick.
Yeah. Tina was saying about the gore, and it's like this isn't really that.
Well, some people are really. I have a friend who is like that. She cannot see blood.
Okay.
Yeah, she's like, oh no. She.
So what level of we can't see blood are we talking? Like veins and everything hang out, and blood dripping everywhere, or finger cut like that guy in Dead Snow? What level are we talking here?
Because this movie's pretty tame as far as like to me, for the gore and blood and all that stuff.
To me, it is as well. But you know, like I said, there are some people who just can't with blood.
Jesus Christmas! You want to talk about gore? My God, Papa! My God! Yikes!
Yes, definitely. This is not. You don't want your kids to watch, because the part where Jack is attacked, that's a pretty bad scene. Yeah,
because they're shaking the head of the wolf like so violently.
Yeah,
you know.
Yeah, that was like, I cut that clip down. That's drawn out more. And
even with the extended version that I put in there, that was still actually cut down quite a bit. And remember, Trina, we can't move on until you end the stream.
Okay.
I'm your Jack now.
Oh, okay.
God, that one flew right over your head.
Way over. Way. Oh yeah, good. Yes, good special effects. The Thing and The Fly. Oh yeah.
Yeah. I still don't know how they did some of that stuff in the thing, especially like the dog.
I know
That was so grotesque.
that.
I don't know if I've seen the thing the whole way through. I know I've seen like bits and pieces.
Such a good movie.
And like all the effects and stuff, but
even that other one, I think it still worked as well. They go hand in hand perfectly. The more modern
the
one
one that's like a prequel reboot slash thing.
Yeah, I was more than fine with it because like I hadn't seen them until a couple of years ago. Like I think I only saw parts of the original, like a scene or two here or there. But like I want to see the whole thing. So yeah, I watched them both back to back, and I thought they fit perfectly.
Yeah. Yeah, two great movies right there.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, so is there anything else you guys want to touch on with this movie, or anything else you want to discuss as far as werewolves go? Anything?
Werewolves are cool.
I prefer vampires. Sorry.
I know.
Well, he's not Italian, that's why.
You like them hairy?
No, I am hairy.
Oh, okay.
See, I like werewolves because I don't like the whole drinking blood stuff.
Yeah, she likes
don't say
chunks of flesh
when
being,
I say that.
She prefers chunks of flesh being ripped out.
Yeah, you're all right.
It's the you know what it is though. It's that transformation of man. It's the beast that comes out. You know that there's more. It's a different kind of lore and psychology behind. I think the character itself.
Yeah.
Because then it's just like that. You can't control that rage either. Whereas vampires, they could be classy. They could. There's something a little bit more to it, and they're closer to death than a cursed man. You know.
So what you're saying, Vinny, is we can't control ourselves because of bestial fury? Thanks a lot, buddy. Thanks a
With
lot.
vampires, always like the mystique and the like elegance.
Yeah.
That's behind like vampire. That's like my
right.
That's
yeah.
I mean, the vampire is like a good example of like that kind of like.
Yeah, because you have the vampire has a coven, and it's like you said, it's more classy. There's other stuff going on there, and then you'll have like a werewolf den, which is different completely. It's more like just like a wild pack of animals together. It's way different on that end.
I'm gonna haunt Draven until he has proper meatloaf.
I just make it and send it to me.
If I could figure out a way to get it up to you without it going bad, I would. Packing of dry ice.
Yeah.
What about just giving him a recipe?
Yeah, you know what? I could just do that.
It's a little easier, huh? And say, get these ingredients, put them together, pop it in the oven. Ta-da!
Yeah, that was a Dracula thing, wasn't it?
Yeah,
or
and bats. Yeah.
Yeah.
And wolves.
Yeah.
And didn't Bela Lugosi, didn't he command wolves as well? He called them his children of the night.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah, well, I think the original. I think in the original lore, that's what they were able to do, like creatures of the night and everything like that. That really, I don't think you got the transformation stuff until much later on.
Bram Stoker did a great job with theirs. I mean, that was pretty crazy.
They have that new. Speaking of vampires, they have that new vampire movie coming out where on the boat. I forget what it's called.
Oh, the final. What was it? Destination of the
Demeter, right?
Something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, the Demeter or whatever.
Oh yeah.
That looks really good.
It does.
Yeah, it does.
It does. And it's he starts to slowly I guess he needs to sustain himself, and he starts with some of the rats on the ship, and then like he progresses. And as he does, it looks like he transforms more and more.
That reminds me of Dracula movies in general. Like the older Dracula movies. RR says werepig are the most terrifying. They don't just nibble toes, they nibble feet. So you just end up with stumps.
That's right. And then you fall over and we win.
That's great.
Yeah, this is
The Underworld movies are pretty good too for werewolves as well.
Yep, those werewolves look cool.
Yeah, I enjoyed them.
And what was the name of that one? Van Helsing.
Oh yeah. I always forget about that one.
His ears always bothered me. I don't know. There's something that, like, he's menacing. He looked great all around, and then like those ears were just like popping up on the top of his head.
Oh,
Silly.
Oh, I got another one that's got a vampire appearance in it. I Frankenstein.
Oh, does it?
I saw that movie once. I thought he
Yeah,
was
same.
fighting gargoyles though.
Yeah.
I don't think I've seen that
I'm
one.
almost positive it had a vampire in that one too. I'm almost
I don't know.
positive.
So weren't they supposed to originally like tie that in with Underworld, and then they didn't?
Yeah, it was the same dude who created it, the black
Yeah.
guy. He was the big like in
Yeah.
Underworld. I met him once at New York Comic Con.
Nice.
Freaking guy is huge. He's a big dude. But yeah, I brought him afterwards somewhere. Like I didn't want to bother him because he was with a friend or something. They were waiting online to get in. I said hello from
Oh,
there.
that was good too.
Yeah, when I wrote him on the computer, he goes, "Oh, you should have came out. We could have had a good conversation." I'm like, I didn't want to bother you, man. You're doing your thing. He wasn't at a booth or anything. He went as like a regular individual.
You know what's funny about that one, Glenzer? Originally, what they were going to do, they were going to have an expanded MonsterVerse where basically they were going to have Dracula and everything like that be part of the MonsterVerse. And that movie was actually supposed to be the kickoff for it.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then it failed, and then they're like, "Let's make the Mummy the kickoff of this," and then that failed too.
That failed worse because of what they did. They tried to turn it into Uncharted and like a comedy, or I don't know what the hell they were doing.
Which sucks because I really like the Russell Crowe bits in that.
Me too.
And some of the other elements.
That's where they should have started. It should have been. It should have been Jekyll and Hyde. It should have been him, because that established what they were going to do. That he was kind of like the curator of all of that with his group. It would make more sense. And I love Dracula Untold. I agree.
That was
totally. Totally underrated movie. I think it came out at the piss poor wrong time. They wasted that. They really did.
RR is correcting us. He says, "I Frankenstein had gargoyles and demons, no vampires."
Yeah, that's what I remember. I saw it once. It was okay for what it was.
The Dark Universe.
Yep.
Yeah, that's what they were going to call it.
That would have been so cool.
If they did that now, they'd all be yelled at. That's too racist.
Yeah.
They should use Renfield as a starting off point to do a kind of comedy / horror universe.
I've seen some low budget movie, and I think it was just called Frankenstein versus the Mummy. But they had like another version of the Mummy and a freaking basically a thug who got turned into like a Frankenstein thing fighting in it. It was really freaking weird. I think I caught it on Tubi. It was horribly bad.
Sounds like it would have been a very slow fight.
This is true from Soul Assassin. He says, "Guys, you failed to realize how impactful the Tom Cruise Mummy made people respect the Brendan Fraser ones." That does happen.
That is true. That is true.
So they tried to use the action adventure kind of thing with that in that movie, but kind of missed the mark with it.
Well, like I said, they were trying to do Uncharted mixed with a Mummy movie. It was so weird because that was Tom Cruise. Tom Cruise screwed up that project entirely. He had final say in everything. He wasn't even supposed to turn into the Mummy. Spoiler alert if anyone really gives a shit. He was never supposed to become the Mummy. It was supposed to stay the chick, and I thought she did a great job.
Yeah, she did.
It was something different, but it still worked. She was very creepy. Her scenes were great. Russell Crowe's scenes were fantastic. It was Tom Cruise. It was like he was in a completely different movie.
So Frankie is asking, he says, "Dracula Untold is in the blockbuster section of Netflix. Didn't it do well?" And it actually did well at the box office. So the budget was $70 million, and it made $217 million.
Yeah, they thought it was going
to. No, that's still considered a flop.
It is? Really?
Yes. If you don't make
It's
triple
advertising.
your budget, you need to make triple your budget. Because remember, like any kind of advertising that they usually put out for those movies, it's usually anywhere from half to a full count, sometimes depending of the actual budget, depending on how low the budget is. So they usually
Okay.
count. It's got to make 3 times over what the budget is before they consider it successful.
So okay, so 70.
Yeah, had it done
So
closer.
it did just that. It did
Yeah.
just triple. So
They
made
just-
so is that like breaking even? Is that what you're saying?
Basically,
Pretty
yeah.
much.
Oh,
Pretty
man.
much. Yeah, had it pulled a bigger profit. If it hit like $500,000 or close to that, or
Yeah.
$500 million rather, they
Billion,
would have
yeah.
definitely gone ahead right away. But
Yeah.
it was a weird time. That guy's star was just starting to rise. That would have been the bigger kind of momentum for him. But they tanked it on purpose. What do you call it? The critics shit all over the movie. They're the ones who dunked on it. I don't know what movie came out during the same time, but it's usually if there's something competing or something that they wanted to push more. It could have been for like Oscar shit at the time too. They'll do that. The studios will pay and they'll tank whatever movie was coming out. And that was around the time with the superhero shit was starting to really take off in a big way too. So they're like, no, enough of this big spectacle. We got to go back to artsy fartsy movies. They ruined it, and they came close too. There was some talks that a sequel was starting to happen, they just ended up scrapping it.
Well, here's another one we don't talk about very often. I mean, it's not the greatest movie in the world, but it had a halfway decent plot, and some of the character designs, the monster designs were kind of interesting. League of Extraordinary Gentlemen.
Oh yeah. I liked that one.
Yeah,
I didn't mind that.
There was some cool stuff in there.
La Femme Nikita was Mina Harker.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. She was good at that.
Yeah. The original show, La Femme Nikita, the one with the blonde girl.
Yeah.
Can't remember her name.
Speaking of Nikita, I really like the Maggie Q one.
I've never seen that one.
Oh, it was good.
I wanted to. I
well,
never got a chance to.
It was good until like towards the end of the series, but it started off really strong.
Nice. Yeah, she's a great actress. That one.
Yep.
She kicks ass.
Yeah, she was so good in that show.
For someone who's usually like that thin, you wouldn't expect them to be like that tough and everything, but she pulled it off.
Yeah.
Because she was in one of the Die Hard movies as well.
Oh, really?
Yep. Yeah.
Yeah, Maggie Q was.
Yeah, it was Free, Die Hard.
Maggie Q. Okay, I thought you were talking about the blonde girl from.
No. Yeah, not that one. The other one.
Okay.
I never seen the original Nikita.
So good.
Well, I've seen the movie. I think I've seen the movie. I just never seen the series because isn't the same chick that plays it in both?
No.
No.
No, in the series. Okay, I'm looking it up. Peter Wilson. And then the movie.
Was it the French actress?
Yes, I think it was. Yeah.
Okay. Which she did a vampire movie, the original one, and that's the one where I got the Robert Loggia thing from, where he's a vampire, which is hilarious and awesome. Fuck, I can't think of the name of it right now off the top of my head. I'll think of it when the stream's done. Watch. Yeah, that movie was great. Innocent Blood. That's the name of it.
Okay.
Yeah, check that one out. That was great. Robert Loggia, he steals that picture. Holy crap, is he great in it? That's when he's like, because he has like the super hearing and stuff. So he's inside of a meat locker. He doesn't know what's going on, but it's daytime and he's trying to find somewhere to hide and somewhere dark. So he goes into the meat locker, and Sam Raimi is the butcher in this place. And that's when I keep playing. He goes, "Get out of here!" on my channel. But he's in there, and two of his guys are talking like the boss ain't doing so well. Yeah, maybe we should off him or whatever. I don't know who. He gets in there. He goes, "Boys, I could hear an angel fart. I heard you talking outside the door."
Oh man!
Oh, it
Say
was
hello
great.
to the monotony.
Hello, monotony.
Monotony.
Hey, Tony.
What's up, Tony? Thanks for stopping by.
Can I start haunting Tony too?
Oh, I haven't heard of this one. Captain Kronos Vampire Hunter is an underrated vampire movie.
I never heard of that either.
No, me neither. All right. Well, this was awesome, guys. So like I want the audience to weigh in as well. So I have a couple of ideas. I kind of wanted to do something with a little bit of comedy for next week, just to kind of lighten it up a bit. So I have a couple ideas. Dracula Dead and Loving It and Return of the Living Dead. But if there's any like requests, I take those too. And audience, you can weigh in if you like me to do one. Also, you guys on panel as well.
I recommend it. We should watch Innocent Blood. It's a horror movie. It's a vampire one, and there's comedy in it too. Don Rickles is also in it.
Innocent Blood.
Just
Okay.
looking it up.
Yeah.
All right. Let me make sure that it's free.
And that was also John
I don't
Landis, by
think
the
it's
way.
I don't think it's anywhere free right now.
Oh, it's not.
Mm-mm.
But that was also John Landis. He directed that one.
It's like the mob or vampires in this.
Yep. Yeah, because it's crazy. She's a vampire who's feeding. She gets
Tom
interrupted.
Savini's in it too.
Say again?
Tom Savini's in it too.
Yeah, there's the whole cast is excellent. They are good. They do a great job. Anthony LaPaglia,
Angela Bassett.
He's like the main. He's like the main cop. But yeah, so basically she's feeding on these guys. She only goes after criminals, and then after she eats them, she'll kill them. She'll rip their head off. She'll do something so that the bodies can't come back. But she gets interrupted while she's feeding on one of the mafia guys, and so they end up turning into vampires. And then they have to try to stop them. But it's pretty good. There's some comedy and in horror, and she's fantastic in it.
Okay. So whoever hasn't seen it will have to rent it because it's not on Tubi or anywhere.
Oh, damn.
And
but wait, so far, what do we have for the options for next week? Dracula Dead and Loving It?
So yeah, I had a couple of suggestions: Dracula Dead and Loving It and Return of the Living Dead.
Which one's
Return of the Living Dead is really good.
Which one's that one?
That's like the comedy one.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's okay, so how do I
The sequel has the chick dancing naked in the graveyard.
And the second one also has the thriller scene.
Yes.
Is this the 85 one?
Yeah, hold on. It's on Tubi. Let me look it up.
Has the tar man or the tar zombie in it in the beginning?
Yes.
That's like the most iconic thing I would say as far as like
it's the one where they kept going on about eating brains, Vinny.
Yeah.
I can smell your brains.
Oh yeah, I think my cousins were watching this all the time.
Yeah, it's from 1985.
Okay. Yeah, I remember it. I'm pretty sure I've seen it at least once.
But Tommy, do you have a preference?
Big. Translation, I have no preference.
Okay.
He's got two zombies in his...
Okay, so Draven and Vinny are voting for Innocent Blood, and RR says that it's a lost gem. He has it on DVD.
But we could do Dracula Dead and Loving It too. I mean, I'm down for either or.
I have to work next week, so I won't be here, so whatever we watch is up to you guys.
Okay.
Sorry. I don't want to like pick something and then not be here.
Right.
Yeah. All right. Well, okay. So then in that case, since whose idea was Innocent Blood?
Mine.
That was Vinny.
Vinny? Okay. But that was, you were voting for that as well, Draven?
I'm all right with that, or Return of the Living Dead. I really like that movie and the sequel.
Which one would you rather see? Or review, I should say.
Well, I never seen Innocent Blood, so I don't know.
So why don't next week? Why don't we do Dracula Dead and Loving It, and then when he can come back on, we'll do one of the other ones.
Okay. Next week we'll do Dracula Dead and Loving It.
There we go. And there, that makes more sense because he doesn't want to miss the other ones, and the other ones he wants to talk about. And yeah, I think that's pretty good.
Okay. All right. Sounds good. And now, let's go around, and Draven, you can go first. Tell them where to find you.
Yeah, so I'm gonna be after here. I'm gonna go over to this Holy Shit News. I always fuck that up. Holy Shit News over on ETEP's channel, and then later tonight we'll be watching tonight's episode of Dynamite. Thanks for having me. Always a pleasure to be here, and I look forward to the next one.
It was good to have you. Thank you so much for being here. And now, Vinny, tell them where to find you.
Yeah, I should be hanging out with Draven for the wrestling stuff. But you can find me at Vinny Art on YouTube. We do streams on Fridays and Sundays. I also have some fantastic comic books you guys could grab. Everyone knows about them. Shadow of the Kraken, Through the Woods, City of Venus. Currently working on City of Venus 2 right now. So, if you guys want to keep supporting, I would highly appreciate that. Remember to hit like and subscribe, especially over here on everyone's channels. We're having a good time. Oh, and check out Trina's review, the toy review on the nightmare scene with the Yahtzee werewolf dudes. That was a pretty cool review. That figure's awesome.
Thanks. Yeah, I just uploaded that toy review today. It's one of the nightmare
They made
demons.
a figure of those?
Yeah, it's cool. One of the nightmare demons from this movie.
Thanks.
NECA. They got 4 different heads all together, so you could swap them all out. Whichever one that you like the best, you could pop in there, whatever.
Nice.
Yeah. All right, Tommy, your turn.
It's just a shame that your guinea pig had to be a homicidal maniac like Jack Frost.
Hey.
I kept it short and sweet.
Okay. So you so subscribe to Tommy and the Guinea Pig Collective. And no, how does he do it? Remember, never let anybody I can't do it. Never let anybody tell you what you can and cannot say, what you should and should not watch. Because your silence gives consent. I don't
there
know
we
the
go.
rest.
Good job.
Nailed it.
Yep.
Nailed it. Oh God, why is she running?
All right. Well, everybody, thank you so much for being here tonight. You guys in the chat and anybody catching this on the replay. I really appreciate you all for being here. And you guys are awesome. And we'll see you next week for the review of Dracula Dead and Loving It. If you want to watch it and follow along with the show, it's free to watch. Soul Assassin dropped the link. It's on YouTube and it's also free on Tubi. So everybody, you have a great night, and tell everybody wherever you go that I said hi.
Yeah, be well, everybody, and remember, no matter where you go, there you are.
Thank you, my top lieutenant.